So A11 by extension is pretty easy if you properly created your rock, paper, scissors assignment, because all we're going to do is take rock, paper, scissors, copy that code over into a new file, and then you're going to take the functions from that assignment and move them to their own module so that you're calling those functions remotely. Okay? Those modules, those three functions should already exist in your rock, paper, scissors code. So as an example, I've got this code here, and this code is a little game here, the number guessing game, type whole number between 1 and 10. And this is all it is. It just gives you one try, and if not, it sort of shames you a little bit, and then it asks you if you want to play again. So I can take the get user guess function, and I can move this to its own module. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to create a Python file, user guess.py. I'll just call it that. That'll be my module name. Paste it in there, save it, and then I'm going to come back to this program, and I'm going to import user guess, and okay, you can see here that in my code, this is underlined because it doesn't know where that function is yet. For this program, that function is not defined. The easiest way for me to deal with that is to use from user guess import get user guess. And you can see it immediately resolves the error here because I'm pulling that function in and using it directly as though it's part of the program. The other way I can do this, of course, is import user guess, and then I'm going to type user guess dot, and that fixes it also. Now, if I don't want to type user guess every time, I could abbreviate it, I could rename it, I could do whatever I want. So there are a few different ways to handle that, but however you handle the import impacts how you do this. And you can see here that when I run the program, it does exactly the same thing that it did before, as if nothing ever happened. But now, if I wanted to use this in another program, all I have to do is import that file to another program, and I have a piece of script here that will prompt a user to enter a number between 1 and 10, make sure that it's between 1 and 10, and then returns the integer. So it does some, if I wanted to get into like error checking here and look before you leap and using try and accept, I could do all of that in here in this module to make it really tight, really good user experience. And my main program isn't impacted by that at all because this is my whole main program now. That's the whole thing. And that's why creating custom modules is really powerful and easy. And the nice thing here is that if I have an error in that function, it's going to tell me the error lives in that function. It'll tell me to go look in that. And so it makes debugging easier. It makes following what's going on with your program easier. Code maintainability, upgrades, security, all of that becomes infinitely easier when you're using functions, and especially if you're using functions that are separated into modules, because then it becomes reusable across different pieces of code. So that's, as you start to think about more advanced applications and think strategically about how you want to develop programs, you want to be mindful of, is this a good time most of the time it's good to separate the basic functionality of your code into different functions. But you also want to think about, is this a function that I'm going to want to reuse somewhere else? Does it have value beyond my basic program here? And if so, put it in a module, save yourself the effort of doing it later. Like, just build it that way. So that's something to keep in mind going forward. But that's assignment 11. Should be pretty basic for you. You got about 45 minutes of good work time here. So if you're behind, again, pull those up, work on those first, and then come to this. I video every lecture, so if you need to work on previous stuff and then come back to this, that's how I would recommend doing it. Because we're not done reusing older code. So if you build your older code and it's working and you're happy with it, then these later assignments become a little bit easier because you can have something solid to start with. Okay, so that's it for today. Please use the time to get some stuff done.